The Indian Women's Service League. In the mid-60s, when I came to, early 60s, mid-60s, when I first came to Seattle, I came by Greyhound bus from the Colville Reservation, and I was headed up to Western Washington State College. It was then Western Washington State College. A little college then. And the Greyhound bus depot down on 7th and Stewart. I got off the bus, and my aunt, Lucy Covington, had given me a little map that showed where the Indian Center was. Her and my aunt, Virginia Andrews, back home, they said, now you go to the Indian Center there when you're at the bus station and introduce yourself. And so I went there, and I walked in, and sitting at a desk was Adeline Garcia. She was Haida. And Adeline looked at me, and she smiled, and she kind of waved me, beckoned me to come forward. And so I walked up to her, and she said, "Are you lost?" she said. And I said, "No." I said, I found this place. I said, she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From the Colville Reservation." "Oh, come here." And she said, "Why don't you come up here and have tea with me?" And she made me a cup of tea. And I sat, and I was visiting with her, and in walked other members of the Indian Women's Service League. Pearl Warren, Mary Jo Butterfield, Ramona Bennett. Ramona Bennett was then I don't know whether she was working there or... and Cynthia Doney, Cindy Moody, or Cindy Doney. They were all part of the Indian Women's Service League in the Indian Center, and they had all gone out and got some lunch and were bringing it back, and they would all have lunch there. And so I ate lunch with them, and we visited. They were very excited. Back then there wasn't a lot of us going to college. And that was my first introduction to the Indian Women's Service League. And I remember it in the old church down on Stewart. After that, I would see them over and over again because I was part of the National Indian Youth Council. And we tended to run into each other at NCAI conferences, Northwest Affiliated Tribes conferences. And they were a pretty powerful organization for an urban Indian program. And in retrospect, looking back now, I guess I could have been, or we all could have been, a lot more respectful